Tom, this is major news. I'm assuming they weren't wowed by anything they heard from other organizations who were interested in Ohtani.
Well, that's true, but it's a more complicated situation. But let's start with some of the offers, because about a week ago, teams started coming to the Angels with some ideas. The talks really never got any momentum, but names that were being put out there were minor league players, hoping the Angels would settle for some prospects. Because any team that would trade for Shohei Ohtani this time of year obviously is making a run at the postseason, and they don't want to take away from their major league personnel. Well, the Angels aren't interested in prospects and lottery tickets, so there wasn't a match to begin in the first place. But also in the last week, we had the Angels win 6 of their last 7 games. And it just goes to show you, Greg, how volatile this time of year is. If the Angels had lost 6 out of 7, perhaps a trade is more in play. But in that mini run, the Angels front office was convinced we have a chance at the postseason. At the time they made the decision, the Angels were just 3.5 games out of a wild card spot. Remember, this is a team that hasn't been to the postseason since 2014. And I believe they just could not tell their fan base we're quitting on the season when we're 3.5 games out of our first playoff berth in 8 years. And I also think, Greg, this is a clear message to the Angels players. We're in it. We believe in you guys. So if you're worried about guys leaving here and us being sellers, forget about it. We are going to be buyers. I'm told the Angels are shopping for a starting pitcher and a relief pitcher. The message is clear to the players, Greg. They're in the race, and they're going to add, not subtract.
So they're at peace with the worst possible outcome, holding on to the greatest baseball talent we've ever seen, possibly not making the playoffs, and he signs with another team, and all you get for this two-way superstar, essentially 2 great players in one, is a compensation pick. They're at peace with the worst-case scenario here.
That is the worst-case scenario, but yes, because it's not like all they get is a compensation pick. They get the opportunity to make the playoffs. Mike Trout is progressing quicker than a lot of people expected. They expect him back in this lineup before the month of August is out. The Angels can look now at September and think, we've got Ohtani and Trout back in the lineup, making a run for the postseason. Ohtani chasing another MVP award in an Angels uniform. Ohtani chasing all kinds of historic numbers in an Angels uniform. For a fan base that is just desperate to see a postseason game, or at least a postseason team, that's not nothing, Greg. That's something.
He did say, as he gets older, his hunger to win increases. You noted how long it's been since the Angels have been to the playoffs. Shohei Ohtani has never been to the playoffs with the Angels. Is this their Hail Mary pass to sign Shohei Ohtani? And what I mean by that is this. The only way they can sign him is if they have this miraculous month of October. It'll start with September. They get into the playoffs. They make a deep run. Let's say they go to the World Series. And because Shohei has such goodwill built up from this run, maybe he'll do the Aaron Judge and take the 2nd or 3rd highest offer and stay with the Angels.
There's some truth to that, because I think the Angels' biggest advantage right now is incumbency. I think in a vacuum, they're not going to be the high bidders for Shohei Ohtani. But if they put together the kind of run you're talking about, and if they become a postseason team, man, it's going to be some momentum for this Angels team down the stretch here in these last 59, 60 games. Then I think there's something to latch onto if you're Ohtani, that you've got a bunch of guys, Trout's not going anywhere. You got a team that has turned a corner after waiting all these years to get back into the postseason. There is something to momentum. Now, again, it probably still is going to come down to the contract, and that's done with numbers, real money. But I do think, yes, for the Angels to have any shot of re-signing Ohtani, they probably do need to make at least a run, if not get into the postseason.
Dan Plesac and I love to work together on 30 clubs in 30 days. We go to Arizona, camp to camp to camp, and then we play golf in the morning and golf afterwards after we're at the camps. And we made a wager on this show. Dan Plesac thinks that Shohei Ohtani in spring training Opening day will be wearing an Angels uniform. I said he will not be wearing an Angels uniform. Whoever loses the bet has to pay for all of the rounds of golf for an entire 2.5-week stretch in Arizona. That's a significant chunk of change. Tom Verducci, who do you like? Whose odds are you favoring in this wager?
Well, right now, assuming the Angels are not a postseason team, the playoff odds are not in their favor. I would say the Los Angeles Dodgers, because the Dodgers can offer Shohei Ohtani more than anybody else. And I'm not talking just about the dollars. We know about their resources. The chance to be a postseason team, and more than that, a World Series team every year, the Dodgers can do that. It's Southern California. It's the weather that he likes. It's everything Ohtani has with the Angels with a deeper roster.
Man, I love you, Tom Verducci. Thank you, man. You really made my night. Great work on the column with Sports Illustrated, and we appreciate your time as always, buddy.